Big story in the market yesterday is what's happening over with Cathie Wood's ARK Invest. They have a suite of ETFs, 5 ETFs trading with various. So, ARK K is the main fund, but they've got ARK W, ARK F, ARK G, and ARK Q as well. All those funds losing about 3.5% during yesterday's trading session. There is a Bitcoin position within the ARK portfolio. They also have a lot of the major tech names that have been such big winners. And the story of Cathie Wood's success over the last couple of years, destroying the market on a returns basis, seeing AUM go from about $3 billion to about $60 billion in just a handful of years. Just a major player within the market, Brian Sozzi. But I think it's just interesting to see the action yesterday, and we'll see how much follow through there is into a number of those ARK names that people are now associating those funds with, getting specific pressure. And I think the most, the clearest reason perhaps to say what was hurting tech stocks yesterday.
Yeah, Myles, let me pick up on that point on ARK because, I'm looking at right now a chart out of Jefferies, and they noted last week the 6 ARK ETFs that they tracked pulled in a cool $2.5 billion. And those 6 ETFs Jefferies tracks year to date before this route, they saw inflows of $17 billion year to date. So ARK Invest, Cathie Wood, we've covered her extensively, really before anyone even knew who she was. Has really gained a lot of attention on Wall Street with individual investors for her performance, mainly around Tesla and a lot of these next generation investments. But Myles, to the sell-off today, it really is interesting. And you have, I think, the establishment now coming out here and trying to pop the bubble in Bitcoin. I know Elon Musk came out over the weekend. He said, quote, Bitcoin prices seem too high. But yeah, Janet Yellen come out yesterday at an event, question the efficiency of using Bitcoin. You have Bill Gates question the very existence of Bitcoin. Unsurprising. But again, these are the types of comments when you have a lot of momentum trades and you have a momentum type investment like a Bitcoin. These are type of comments that could absolutely pop the bubble. And that's what we're seeing, I think, here this morning. And it's not just Tesla getting under pressure, or Bitcoin under pressure. It's a lot of these other plays, NVIDIA under pressure. Their technology gets used to mine Bitcoin. MicroStrategy under pressure. Myles, how is their new convertible debt raise looking given the route right now? Looks absolutely absurd.
Yeah, and I think, it's interesting, Sozzi, because we're talking about Bitcoin at 48,000. It was a month ago that Bitcoin had just broken 40,000. We came into 2021. It's not 2020 anymore. We came into 2021 with Bitcoin closer to 20,000. We got above those record levels from 2017. That was the big event. So we have seen the price move considerably just in a couple of weeks here. And as we have discussed many times, the story with Bitcoin is the price. I know that Bill Gates can say whatever and Janet Yellen can say whatever, and no one in the coin community likes those comments much. And I don't blame them, because the story with all of these assets is that the price goes up a lot, and that brings more interest into the space. It creates situations like what's happening over at MicroStrategy. It gets someone like Elon Musk interested in putting $1.5 billion into Bitcoin. And the interest is driven by how expensive one Bitcoin is. Obviously, at 48,007, there's a lot of people who have made a ton of money, and they don't really care that it's off 10% today. And they're not going to care for another $15,000 if even then they get interested in being worried about their holdings. And so I think it is an interesting, situation, Saz, when you compare it to, let's say Apple goes down 10% in one day. Everyone's freaking out. There's got to be a reason why that happens. It's more difficult with the establishment to talk about Bitcoin, because there doesn't have to be a reason necessarily that it goes up or down as much as it tends to. And it creates a very odd asset to discuss.
No, you're right on, Myles. And I do want to leave folks with maybe some positive news this morning, because really they're seeing a rout in NASDAQ shares. You've seen the market under pressure, I would say, for 7 straight days. This comes out of Evercore ISI this morning, Dennis DeBoucher. It's, quote, market internals are consistent with our view that market return skew is deteriorating as real rates increase, but the average stock will be fine and cyclicals lead. He notes that the S&P 500, yes, on a multi-day losing streak, but cyclicals have outperformed defensives by 3.2% over the past 5 days. So while you're seeing this concentrated pressure in NASDAQ and Bitcoin and some other these hot money assets, at least for right now, you're perhaps not seeing something that would suggest a bigger sell-off or a correction might be in the cards soon.
Yeah, and it goes back to a theme I know we'll discuss as we get through the balance of this year, which is really can the economy and can a lot of stocks within the market do quite well, even as the S&P and the tech stocks, those high-flying names, are under pressure. I think the old thing is, what's bad for the FANG names is probably good for you and I, hoping to get back to real life. So interesting comments from Dennis there, and we'll see kind of how that theme plays out through the rest of the year.